Scott, how are you doing?
What's up, Truman? How are you?
Good. Glad to be back with another week of Steehn versus Machine. Just got a little bit of Jackson 5 rocking around here.
I do. I hope that you're probably getting the whole video taken down from YouTube because of that.
Yeah, I'm sure that little pixelated version of it.
I thought I would. I thought I was going to hear. I thought I was going to hear an intro. You said you heard the intro, and I heard no.
Yeah, sorry. No, I changed it up. I went different. I had you unmuted. You had you in.
By the way, I got a notification that your Twitch channel is now live. It says you're doing another show with Owen Dom.
Oh,
so.
Hey, yeah, this isn't Owen Dom. This would be
No, it's not.
Oh, this is Steehn versus Machine, featuring Scott Steehn from Winners, the lead handicapper over there at Winners and Winers. Of course, I'm Truman Steehn and Machine. How are you doing, Scott?
I wish I could do a show with Owen, so I could just do another show with a 24-year-old. That'd be fantastic, because I do my shows every day with Scott Reichel, another handicapper over at Winners and Winers. He's 24, and then of course I do the show with you, and I'm just looking for somebody with some hair on their balls. That's all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, Dad, you're only doing the show with one 24-year-old because I'm still 23, of course. So
that's right. You're not 23 yet. You're not 24 yet, are you? You're
no,
24.
No, I'm still young. I'm a young chicken.
You're still 23 when no one likes you.
Yes. Exactly.
See, that's right in that tweener zone where that joke said, "Really too young for me as being that old, but it's too old for you guys," because it's Blink 180. That song was probably 15 years ago now.
No, like I get it, but only because you were my father. So.
Right. It's good to be here, bud. Let's talk a lit'll football. How'd you do last week?
I'm just ready to move on to the next picks. I didn't know we were recapping last week's picks at all. I didn't know that was needed. I didn't know we were gonna be. You're blindsiding me here. I didn't know I thought we were just gonna move on. I didn't know I put that in the script.
I just want you to know that every time that we do a show, Truman does a whole script. He sends it to me, and I don't usually read it. So.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah,
and it's very hard to me for not to take control of the show because that's kind of what I do each and every day. So you'll have to apologize if I'm not keeping with your script. So
yeah.
So we don't want to talk about our records last week at all, huh?
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right, very good.
So of course, you had a. Let's just look at the last week's picks. You had Broncos +8, win. Yes. 49ers -7, win. Packers -6.5, win. Seahawks -4, win. And Raiders +6.
Sensing a theme here.
A win as well.
Yeah, I did have all those picks.
You did have all those picks. It's a great 5 for 5. And of course, I had the Colts -3. Win. Steelers -7. Saints -5.5. Packers -6.5. Win. And the Patriots money line. I don't know what happened to those other 3 picks. I didn't see the scores. I don't know how all those went. Of course, I'm just kidding. The Steelers, what are we, 10 yards away from covering? Got tackled at 10. James Conner breaks it late, gets tackled at the 10-yard line. The Steelers win by 5. And the Patriots get the ball down to the Seattle 2 with one play for it all, and they decide instead of their quarterback that's been running, evading out of the pocket well, keeping everyone guessing, passing great all day, they instead motion everybody out of the backfield and over to one side of the line, absolutely choreographing where they're going to go, and run the very obvious quarterback power, and not a single person on the New England line won a block. So. I'm having a great day. I also had the Giants money line. And of course, they got down inside the 10 with one play to go, and Daniel Jones did. So.
By the way, I think the word you're looking for is telegraphed it, not choreographed it. Choreographed what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl, where they all did their spin move and everything.
I don't know, with the amount of motion that they had to get everybody there, they did kind of choreograph it as well.
Oh, you just sat there. You go, I wonder what this plays. I wonder where this play's going.
Oh my god!
Cam Newton right off the left tackle. Jesus. If they never, in fairness, I never should have had to sweat that at all, because in 3rd and 1, Pete Carroll, who inexplicably had been pounding the ball, they've been running the ball successfully all night long. decided to throw deep
He's,
for no apparent reason
yeah.
in the last minute of the game, and that just about cost me the win there. I don't know what it is about Pete Carroll insists on calling a pass play against the Patriots when he should be running the football, but he just about outsmarted himself right there. So
yeah, he's of course just absolutely addicted to running the ball on 3rd and 1 in crucial situations. I mean, throwing the ball on 3rd and 1 in crucial situations.
I don't think Belichick did a good job with the clock either. They should have had another shot at it down there.
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of piss poor coaching in the last minute of that game. Luckily, we came out on the right side of it. And honestly, son, that's the difference between a great day and a bad day.
right.
You got to have those 50-50 plays go your way.
Right, of course.
Running good, they do.
Right, I'm 2 plays away from a 4-1 week, but
Right.
there is no coulda, shoulda, or wouldas in sports gambling. Sadly, I wish there were because I would have cashed. But I think overall, we do an NFL pregame show on Sundays with me and the other 23-year-old Owen Dom. We do our NFL pregame show. You tuned in. I saw you in the chat. We had got a few viewers there, and we had I gave out all my picks from the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet picks went 5-4. So of course, positive week, but not a positive week here on the show, and that's what matters to you, right?
Yes, and by the way, that's very profitable. 5-4, any sports bettor in the world would take that every NFL Sunday.
Well, and especially in week 2, But we can't all be 5-0 like you,
5-4 comes out to 55.5% basically. So yeah.
Yeah, we'd be. Well, and if you run that math, what is it? So you lose 410. Although I lost a couple money, I think I lost 2 money lines, so I lost 420 and I won 500, so I was plus 80.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you play 9 games and you're up 0.8 of a unit, that's fantastic. That's
right.
That's very profitable right there. So
of course I was 2-3 last week, and you were 5-0. You were 5-0 plus 500. You didn't lay any money lines, so you didn't make any extra money this week. But
nope.
But I think everybody will take a plus 500 week in a 5-0 record. Of course, that brings your season record to plus 580 on a 7-3 win loss. Pretty hot start to the season, I'd say.
I believe that's going to be 8-2, my friend.
Yeah, you're
right. I believe 3-2.
Oh, I updated it 4-1 because you got in my head. We were talking. We had our confusion from last week. You actually didn't even think you did as good as you did. So
I forgot my code that I put on my sheet. I did basically my three shows that I do. I did all my NFL picks on one sheet and tried to differentiate them so I would remember which ones were which, and of course I didn't. So
right, of course.
8-2. So I'm going to be plus 800. So that's going to be plus 580.
Yeah, plus 580 for the 2 weeks. I had the plus 580 right. That's the craziest thing. And of course I went minus 120 again. Another week of minus 120 on the show. 2-3 for the 5 picks that we did. Season record minus 240 and 4-6. Again, both weeks I believe I had two money line picks, and neither of them hit. So I kind of keep getting lucky about the money lines, or laying one money line each week. It's kind of nice because then I don't lose as much money. I saved that 10. So
that's just sad that you consider that lucky. I'm so fortunate I only lost 100 instead of 110.
That's where we're at right now so far.
And we talked last week that I need to make hay early because I do expect that your algorithm, if last year was any indication, it will get more accurate as the season goes on.
Right.
So it's I'm gonna make a little hay here. So
right now I'm looking to we zero it in throughout the week, and throughout the season, and obviously that first week I was making picks just on my own volition without even doing as much research as I should have. I'll admit, and not doing nearly as much research as you do. Of course, you do a lot of research, over there at winnersandwhiners.com.
I do.
And so I should have done a little more research on week 1, but I still went 2-3, and even with all my math backing me up, I went 2-3. 2 plays away, man, almost. But to be fair, we did have a pretty chalk weekend. I make fun of you for not picking any money lines, but of course, what is it? 15 out of the 16 opening the teams that opened as favorites going into the week.
Correct.
Obviously, the Rams, the only two to beat the spreads at close were the Rams and the Raiders. I mean, to beat the only two underdogs, money line underdogs to win were the Rams and the Raiders, but the Rams did open as favorites. So
right, and that is
right. So you got to do the opening, but so like I was in a pick'em league, and I think like one guy had a perfect week, and 5 people had 14 out of 15 or whatever. I think everybody almost got it right except for like the Rams, the Raiders over the Saints. So, and I think the spreadsheet actually went all chalk this week, as far as money lines go. No, wait.
The first underdog to win was the Raiders. So from Thursday and Sunday, 15-0 were the favorites.
Yeah. So just kind of insane, kind of an insane week, and I can make fun of you for not picking the money lines as much as I want, but you hit all your bets. So I don't I can't make fun of you much at all, if any. Probably none.
It's like I tell my premium players. By the way, if you're interested in any of my premium picks, you can just head over to winnersandwhiners.com, click on the premium tab, and I do have premium picks that I do have for sale if anybody's interested. But it's like I tell my players, I'm not here to make fancy plays. I'm not here to make the under the radar, the double backhanded, double blind shots. I'm here to make my customers money. And if taking a favorite is the way to do that, that's what I'm going to do. And spoiler alert, I'm playing 4 chalks this week, Truman. So
right. Well, and you're not taking minus 320 money lines or anything ridiculous like that. You're taking. You're picking the correct lines. You're doing it the right way.
And you'll see handicappers that do that, especially baseball's a big one too, where they'll take the Dodgers at minus 320 with Kershaw on the mound. That's going to be Vegas Dave's whale play of the day or some ridiculous shit. So
right. We talked about it last week.
No, it's all legit. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, and so and to my the spreadsheet did pick the two money lines there, but to be fair, those 2 money lines got pretty dang close. Doesn't matter, but they got close, and that gives me a bit of hope. Is that both the Patriots and the Giants were knocking on the door and just choked it away, and that's what machines can't predict, and that's what you can as a human being.
If you're one play away from a better than 3-2 win. I think the Patriots were plus 178 or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe
that's
190. Yeah.
That's right. That's right where you want to be. Sometimes you've made the right play and you don't get the result, but then that happens.
Right. Yeah. But we move on. We've got so you're up big. You're up. Oh, let me run that math real quick. 820. So yeah. It's a good start a lot of cushion, but 5-0, 0-5 week turns around real quick. So, not calling it here, and I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know, right? So
no, I don't expect to go 5-0. I'm happy to grind out 3-2 every week, man. Right. That's 60%. I'm more than happy with that.
And I don't even think one of us could have a 5-0 week. Neil would have an 0-5 because I think we've got a few picks that line up again, as as hopefully we should. As obviously you are looking at a lot of things, and the machine looks at a lot of stats. Obviously, we're going to line up on a few of those. So.
Right, exactly.
But we try to keep the show moving, try to keep it tight, try to keep it nice and keep the pace going. So
he says 17 minutes into the show.
Yes, I don't want to dwell on the past too much here. I'm ready to move on. I know you might be ready to keep talking about last week, but
no,
yeah,
I've already spent that money, Truman. I don't live in the past.
Right, don't dwell on the past much, right? And so
I can't. My players don't allow me to do that. If I go 5-0 and then go 0-10 during the week, they ain't talking about how I was 5-0.
You guys made that 5-0 weekend? That was amazing. That was great.
Yeah, not how that works. So, yeah, let's rock and roll, man.
All right, so moving on to the next week. I sent you the power rankings earlier. I'll post it here on the screen. We did this last week again, and hold on, give me a second. Sorry, I moved some things around by accident in my OBS here. Give me just a second. So we talked about this last week. We'll do it again. We posted the power rankings here. We got all 32 teams here. I forgot. I was going to do a little bit of just showing what teams dropped the most, what teams rose the most. Let's just start off. I mean, I've got a few surprises. I'll list you off the top 5. We had the Baltimore Ravens again topping the list. Pittsburgh again number 2. Green Bay up to 3rd place. Rams at 4th place. Buffalo at 5th place. So Honestly, I mean, not all 2-0 teams. All teams that handled their opponents pretty well and got the job done last week. We saw Baltimore handle Houston pretty well. Pittsburgh obviously choke covering the spread there at the end against the Broncos. I won't dwell on it anymore, I promise.
Jeff Driscoll, baby. Jeff Driscoll.
Green Bay, 42-21 on 42-21 over the Detroit Lions. The Rams, again, one of those teams that was profitable last week on the money line. They beat. Oh man, who did they played the Eagles last week? They did, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they beat Philly.
And somehow Carson Wentz actually survived Aaron Donald with that offensive line. And Buffalo, again, another team that handled but did not cover the spread. Beat the Dolphins by 3, which should have been a little prediction of what was going to happen on Thursday night.
They just kept letting them come back, and they just kept letting them get back in the game. It was so frustrating. Buffalo would have it covered, and then they'd let them right back in. It was just ridiculous. It was a lot like watching that stupid game last night.
Oh man, Fitzpatrick is just the killer. He's killer for stuff like that. He just doesn't go down, but he's not good enough to win the game. He's not good enough to get you a money line, but he's good enough to kill the favorite of covering. Except for last night, where they absolutely dismantled the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I think is a different team every week.
They still had less than 300 total yards of offense last night. The Miami Dolphins did.
Oh man, that hurts. I had the Jags last night. This spreadsheet did.
I did too. I think a lot of us did, Truman. A lot of us were on the Jags last night.
I know.
It happens.
And I even talked about it. I do the podcast with Owen Dom on Tuesdays, and live here on Twitch.tv, upload to Spotify on Thursdays. The plugs. We do Dom That's True, but on that I even gave my love for the AFC South and how much I appreciate and think it's such a fun division. And of course,
awful football game. I had my premium play was the over in that game. Of course, they put up 28 points in the first, almost just right outside of the first quarter, and couldn't get home. Yeah. Couldn't get to 48. So that was fantastic as well.
Right, and of course now I hate the AFC South again. I'm in a love-hate relationship. It depends on the day. And right now I hate the AFC South because they're not bringing me any profit. Last week I think they brought me a little bit of profit, but we'll see. And I think there's a pick or two that can redeem itself here. That can help redeem itself going in. But so that was the top 5. Bottom 5 is Minnesota's the worst team in the league right now. Cincinnati's second. Philadelphia third. The Giants are fourth, and Detroit is your 5th worst team. So, again, really no surprises. I think those are all 0-2, aren't they? Minnesota 0-2, Cincinnati 0-2, Philadelphia 0-2, Jets 0-2, Detroit 0-2. So it's about where you.
Yeah, it's evening out. I don't have nearly as much derision for your rankings as I did last week.
Yes. Again, the Colts feel high, but again, I think that was kind of a fluky loss that first week. I don't think they're the 6th best team in the league, but maybe they are. Maybe they're an sleeping giant. It still has New England over Seattle, but they're basically even. But Seattle. Seattle was the home team, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. I give them a 2-point bump every now and again for that. And then I think it's odd to see the Chiefs so low at number 10, but I mean, when we think about it, the Chiefs haven't looked great. They really haven't.
No, if you look at most of the categories, Mahomes is in the bottom half of quarterbacks. Their offense is in the bottom half. Their defense has been dreadful. Only one team has given up more yards per attempt than the Chiefs have as far as their pass defense goes. So that's likely not going to get any better this week. But
right,
yeah, it's statistically you can see why the Chiefs would be ranked there.
Yeah, and obviously the Chiefs are missing Rashad Breeland. He's out for, I believe, another week because of the arrest and drug situation, whatever happened.
Where he declared himself a marijuana enthusiast.
Yes, down in South Carolina. And then, but they do get the run stopper and Mike Pennell back on that defensive line. Obviously, I only know that specifically because we are both pretty big Chiefs fans here. But
right.
So yeah, I mean, it's about what we expect. As far as the top and the bottoms go, I think that's I think a lot of money is there to be made there in the center. I think that's where we find a lot of uneasiness. I don't know how I feel about Cleveland versus Tampa Bay, but this helps me get a little bit of a grasp on them. Even though they've played very different schedules and performed very differently. So
Sure.
And like Atlanta, how to compare Atlanta and Dallas, and whatever. So, well, actually, sorry, we watched Atlanta and Dallas play last week, but it does have Dallas as the better ranked team.
Still don't know how to compare them.
And I mean, Dallas did have 4 straight turnovers in that game. I believe there was 3 straight turnovers with a turnover. It was 3 out of 4 turnovers with a turnover on downs sprinkled in there for flavor.
Yes, they had three fumbles and a botched fake punt all in the first quarter.
Right, and Atlanta capitalized on every single one of those, making it 20-0.
Sort of, yeah. 20. They got 23 points out of those, I believe.
Yeah. So, not
24 rather. Sorry, yes.
Right, you make all the mistakes and then you go on a run like that, and then you can't sustain it. So you don't.
They weathered the storm, and of course Julio Jones, normally a dependable receiver, dropped the game winner that was thrown from the wide receiver that they were in that wide receiver pass, and dropped a dime right in his breadbasket and dropped it, and that ended up being the game winner. It just kind of seemed like a funny little story at the time. And then when Dallas came charging back, they're like, hey, what we could have used was that extra 7 points that Julio Jones dropped.
Right.
So,
yeah. And I mean, we saw New Orleans drop pretty far this week, but they're still a lot higher. And I'll tell you what, they're still a lot higher than Las Vegas. But Drew Brees looks shot, man. And I think that's still a lot, because we do it based on season stats, not weekly stats. I think that's a lot of what we saw last week or the first week when New Orleans handled Tampa Bay pretty well. I think that's still propping them up a fair amount. And so,
right.
As we get later in the season, we'll be able to start using strength of schedule adjusted. I call this the Steehn score. And then we'll get later. We'll get to what I call the SOSAS, which is the strength of schedule adjusted Steehn score. So we'll be able to get a lot more in. That really helps narrow in a lot of the lines and the numbers and put them in perspective as well. But again, that's for later in the season. We're talking about this week, and this is where this is just where my power rankings are at, and we'll have to see how they change next week. We'll start getting a little more stats on how they're changing week to week, and we'll keep talking. We'll keep this in our rear view, or keep this in our talk. But I don't know, personally, for me and you, I mean, I'm ready. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get on for this week's picks. I'm ready. I've got a laser focus for this week.
All right, very good. Do you want to kick it off, or would you like me to?
Let's see. I don't know who went first last week. I can't remember. Was it me last week?
I don't remember. Maybe it was losers go first. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you go first just in case I want to steal some picks from you this week. Get in the middle of the show.
All right, very good. I'm going to start off with a play there in the Rams-Bills game. Rams are currently a 1.5 point dog, so I'm going to play the money line here. And I know we talked about it last week, but you should, from a monetary standpoint, you should always play the money line if you're thinking about taking the underdog and it's 3 points or less. And that is the situation here. Is the Rams 1.5 point dog. I'm going to take the Rams on the money line at plus 103 against the Bills. I like this Rams team quite a bit. I really like what they're doing on offense. Jared Goff looks reinvented. They don't have Todd Gurley to drag them down anymore. And of course, the Rams defense always plays well. They have given up some yards, but a lot of it's been in garbage time. I like the Rams here at plus 103 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are banged up, down a couple of receivers, and by the way, they're dreadful. So give me the Rams.
Right, and I believe this was something we discussed on the Dom That's True. I don't believe we discussed it on here, but I believe we discussed on the Dom That's True pregame show.
I said Eagles. I'm sorry, I meant Eagles. They played Eagles last week.
Yeah.
They got the Bills this week, and Bills are a solid team. I think they're going to be able to get after Jared Allen. Jared Allen's going to find a lot of difference between this Rams defense and that Dolphins defense that he went nuts on last week. So
Josh Allen, not the retired defensive end Jared Allen.
No, like Jared Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen. Sorry. Yeah.
I think they get after. I think they get after
Jared.
Jared Allen as well. To be fair, so
Yeah, they really mow him down. But yeah, I think I definitely think it's gonna be a tough game for both of these teams. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout one way or the other. But I like the Rams to get it done here and take care of business against the Buffalo Bills.
right. I just want to clarify what you talked about because again, I'm thinking that we talked about this on the Sunday pregame show. I don't believe we discussed it on this show last week about that. What was it? It's about 95% of the time or 90% of the time. Something.
It's low 90s. It's around. I believe the last time I saw it's around 91, 92%.
Right. Is that NFL games are not decided by less than 3 points generally. It's very rare where you see a 1 point or 2 point game. Because you know what it takes is what we saw in Dallas, which was such a weird score, 40-39. That was such an unconventional way to get there, with the 2 point conversions and the field goal kicking and the ball, and the onside kicks. But it's just the games are never that close. So there's not much benefit when you're taking a team plus 1.5 or plus 2 or plus 2.5. You should be taking the money line because then you don't have to pay the minus 110 on a plus 2.5 when you're not really getting much value for those points that you're paying for. So you take the money line, and here you obviously only have to lay 100 and you win 104 instead of if you were to take the 1.5 points, which they're probably going to win by, but if the Bills are going to win, they're going to win by 2.5. They're going to win by 2 points or more probably. So you make more money laying you have to risk less money and you win more money by betting smartly and not taking the worthless points that Vegas is trying to sell you. So here you're taking the money line, and you don't have to lay them 110, and you get 104 back instead, while only laying 100.
Right, and what when we say the 91, 92%, that's the amount, that's the percentage of times that the underdog will lose by 3 or less. So it's you'll have games on both sides. Now, they may win by three or less, and so you have a certain amount of they have a lot more games that finish 3 or less, but remember, only half of those results affect us. So that's something to do because people say, "Well, I bet more games in at 3 or less," and they do, but it's only the 3 or less that are in favor of the underdog that come into play there.
Exactly. So yeah, and I think the Rams pick sounds great. I think I think my spreadsheet had the Bills like minus 1.4. So not enough. It wasn't enough. While that feels like a technicality, it's one of those things where I don't think the Bills are minus 1 point. I don't think the Bills are 1.5. I'm not sure. I love the Bills here. If it flips, then I'd be tempted to take the Bills on the money line. It's an interesting game. I think that's an interesting, intriguing game for both teams where we've got to learn what these teams are about. They're both undefeated, but they both were not elite last year. Both average teams where I think whatever team wins, you're going to think of them as taking the next step, as taking that step up to more of an elite year for this league. So I'm interested to. That's a game I'm going to I'll be watching pretty closely. I watch Red Zone every week, but that'll be a game I'll watch a little closer when a Red Zone notification pops up.
Right.
Moving on. So my first pick of the week is, and again I rank this. You do your picks when you give them to me. You give them the way they show up on the sheet. Their sheet number. Right, I believe that's what we call it.
Rotation number,
not sheet number. Sorry, you rank yours top to bottom on rotation number. So the Rams came up first in the rotation. And
generally, yeah.
And then I do mine top to bottom on what I'm more confident on. So we'll always be a little out of whack. But my first one that I had that I'm most confident on this week is the Steelers -4 at -110. I believe you've got a Steelers pick later on, correct?
It was my next one up.
Oh, so this is great. So let me throw this up for you, so then we can kind of discuss it at the same time here. Steelers. I believe I had them. Let me double check this. Sorry, I normally have the spreadsheet up. I believe I kind of was looking at I actually had that script that I emailed to you, which is the same as last week and it's the same as we'll use every week. So I don't know why I need to pull it up. But let's see. What did I have the Steelers? I had the Steelers favorited by. Tell you here in a second. Oh, so the Steelers are playing the Houston Texans. Actually, the Steelers favored by 13, if you believe that. But
I do.
But again, another one where we've seen the Steelers have played the Giants and the Broncos, and the Houston Texans have had to go and play the Ravens and the Chiefs. So maybe those two opponents to start off season aren't equally ranked. But again, we're not early enough where I can start to trust strength of schedule and stuff like that. So
Right.
But yeah, I think I as much as those two teams were tough, Houston didn't really hang with either of them. Especially not as much as they did in years past. Although they did get blown out by Baltimore last year, but they obviously beat the Chiefs last year and then, got up on them 24-0 in the division round of the playoffs. And then I don't know what happened after that, but I do remember that Houston went up 24-0 on them. So I feel like and obviously the offense is probably still waiting to find a stride after you switch running backs and you get rid of your good wide receiver, your elite NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. It sounds like they're still waiting to hit some strides over there in Houston, and the Steelers look good. I mean, they as both those games probably weren't as close as the score indicates. I don't think the Broncos were really within 5 there. Like we said, the James Conner scores and puts that in. We're talking about a 13-point or a 12-point Pittsburgh blowout. Where that would have felt a lot more like how the game really felt was Pittsburgh by 12 or so, not Pittsburgh by 5.
Right.
And that Giants game was the Giants game actually might have been a little closer, but no. There's a late score again. So the Steelers were up 16, and then there's a late score, and they only win by 10. So yeah, I don't. I think the Steelers do look. I think they have handled bad teams, and Houston has not stood in there with good teams. So yeah, I like this Steelers pick. It's not crazy that the spreadsheet is the most confident in this one because that's just how these first 2 weeks have been for these teams.
Yeah, and I like that play. I like that play quite a bit. This is a Pittsburgh team that I really like what they've done with incorporating Benny Snell into the offense. I'm not necessarily a big James Conner fan as far as an every down back goes. I don't think he's quite a feature back yet, but I do like him as a change of pace, and I like the 1-2 punch with him and Benny Snell. But when you talk about the Steelers, you've got to talk about their defense. It's all about this defensive front seven that just is absolutely relentless in getting after the quarterback. And the Steelers are a rarity right now. They're very healthy. Nobody's really hurt.
They lost the right tackle to start the season to that new Meadow Lakes turf.
Well, I'm talking about you. You're talking about. I'm talking about right now, week to week.
Nobody's hobbled.
They lost Zach Banner before the season started, but as far as right now, they're still in good shape. Houston offense is a little bit banged up, as both Duke Johnson and Kenny Stills are questionable for this one. And that's just not an offense that can afford anybody to be absent at one of the skill positions. Houston defense has been just dreadful, just absolutely dreadful. And I look for Pittsburgh to take care of business. I think this will be a relatively low-scoring game, but I think the Steelers should cover that forward quite easily.
Yeah,
just like you did.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, like you said, the 1-2 punch were either I believe Benny Snell was over 100 the first week, and I think James Conner was over 100 last week. I think having two running backs that can hurt you, while they did lose Le'Veon Bell, or prime Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell on IR right now, but he really wasn't having that great of a season or last season. But, it just helps to have, if you can replace it with two very solid backs like Pittsburgh's done, I think that's a dangerous duo that can keep the heat off of an aging quarterback. So
yes, agreed.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Agreed. So where are we at? Your third pick?
My second pick now. Sorry, we've talked about we kind of went by my first and your second. My second pick that the spreadsheet is most confident in is the Tennessee Titans -2.5. Like we said, the AFC South burned me yesterday, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to betting on the AFC South. Man, I love this. I love the AFC South. I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen. I have no clue what's happening week to week in the AFC South, and I absolutely love it. And not only that, but the spreadsheet loves it as well because, of course, Tennessee is the 11th. They're actually tied for the 10th ranked team, and they're playing the spreadsheet's ranked lowest team the Minnesota Vikings, another team that we cashed in with last week on the AFC South, where I believe there's a few jokes being thrown my way from quite a few people about my Colts over the Minnesota Vikings pick and how it is my most confident. And then the Colts went out there and just took care of business against those Vikings. Not impressively. Don't get me wrong. There was a touchdown, a safety, and 3 field goals. They beat them 18-10 or something dumb like that. Yeah.
Don't look now, but Minnesota is a pretty bad football team.
Minnesota is a very bad football team.
I did not expect that.
Kirk Cousins looked dreadful. Had a 0 passer rating and
no, he
ended up with a 15, I think.
He was about 13.2. He went 11 for 26 with 3 interceptions. If he'd have gone 0 for 26 with no interceptions, his passer rating would have been like 26.
His QBR was 9, which is one of the lowest QBRs I've seen since ESPN.
Right. In other words, I could have gone out there and literally had a better QBR than he did, as long as I didn't throw any interceptions.
Right. You could throw them all in the ground.
As long as I just threw it away or took the sack, I would have had a better QBR.
Stop throwing the ball. Just eat the ball. Throw it away. Do something other than whatever you're doing, please. So the Titans 2.5. That's my next favorite pick. I believe. I always like to check this just for fun. The spreadsheet had Tennessee favored by almost 6, so at 5.9. So yeah, I think it's a very solid pick. I feel, good about it. The gap between Minnesota and Baltimore is wide, and it shows up every week. So yeah, I like the Tennessee over Minnesota this week. That's my second pick. Let's. Pick number 3 for you, right?
You heard me make fun of them earlier, and I'm going to take the Eagles minus 4.5. And this is a complete and 100% fade of the Cincinnati Bengals and their defense. Their defense is just awful. It totally got exposed against Cleveland. You saw a little bit of what that looked like. They really missed Geno Atkins and Mike Daniels. Neither one of those guys have been able to go, and man, they missed some big uglies up front there. The Eagles should be able to have their way with them. They should be able to run the ball, and that's really the key to the Eagles game, is to take pressure off of Carson Wentz. He's down a couple of receivers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey's going to be out, and Rieger's out. So it's of course Marquise Goodwin was out to start the season. So it's really going to come down to Greg Ward and Deshaun Jackson. Miles Sanders is going to be ready to go. They do have a pretty good backup there in Boston Scott, so I expect the Eagles to control the line of scrimmage and take care of business against a Cincinnati team that is still finding its way. Certainly on the offensive side of the ball, but defense they're not finding their way at all. So I'm going to take the Eagles minus the 4.5 there.
Right. I again, those are when we talked about it earlier. These are 2 teams that I had both in my bottom 5. They're actually tied for the same team score. They're one above Minnesota as far as the Steehn score ranking goes, but for the record, Baltimore is 45 points ahead of Minnesota on Steehn score, but we adjusted based on the lines. But I had them actually at the same ranking, but I give every home team just a little bit of an edge. So I believe I have the Philadelphia Eagles minus 2. I normally have it around minus 3, minus 4, but without any team, with this weird year, I think home field advantage matters even less this year. So yeah, I believe those teams are about equally as bad, but I think I like Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia being at home is going to help them just enough, and I believe, again, minus 2. I didn't have the confidence to take them at minus 4.5, but I don't hate the pick. I don't hate. The Cincinnati looks bad. They don't look awful. They don't look like the Vikings per se, but they don't look much better than the Vikings.
You know what we learned last Monday night when Cincinnati got whomped by Cleveland is we learned that Tyrod Taylor is a pretty bad quarterback.
Oh,
because
35.
That Chargers offense looked so much really confident against the Chiefs, and they did a great job, and this a team to put up with 16 points against Cincinnati with Tyrod Taylor at the helm. So
makes you wonder what that team doctor really was thinking when he was injecting that pain.
I believe Tyrod Taylor has been Wally pipped again in his career for the second time.
About every time, right? What was it? Where was he last year?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. He was in the Bills before that, although I don't think Nathan Peterman Wally picked him at all. So
No, he left the Bills willingly. But after they drafted Josh Allen, he went to be the man in Cleveland, and then he got hurt, and they put in Baker Mayfield, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, again, like I said, I don't hate the Eagles pick. I just didn't have as much confidence in them as you did.
All right, good enough.
Pick number 3 for me is actually going to be a pick that again shows up on your sheet. So we're going to have 2 picks this week. So we can cheer. We can text each other about these 2 games here throughout the week. But I've actually got the Ravens -3.5 as my next confident pick. Obviously, you guys see my shirt. Obviously, this hurts a little bit to pick. But like we said, the Chiefs just don't look cohesive right now, and we've seen as Chiefs fans, we've seen at times when this team doesn't look good and they lose a dumb game. They lost to Indianapolis last year, and they early on because Mahomes was kind of hurt, and the Houston game last year, the Tennessee game last year, both games where they felt just like they couldn't just put them away, and they just didn't feel very good. And and that Chargers game was about as discombobulated as you ever see the Chiefs. But the Chargers defense does have a way of doing that. Obviously, they see him 2 times a year, and Mahomes has had some of his worst performances of his career against the Chargers. So it's not insane, but they just don't look very good. I don't think they looked as much as we talk about them controlling Houston. I don't think they looked like world beaters versus Houston. They ran the ball effectively, but it's almost like they're running the ball too much, right? That's what it feels like for me.
They certainly have not. The yards per attempt, I think Mahomes is like 19th in the league in yards per attempt. It's not the same Chiefs offense that we've seen the last 2 seasons. And you can tell that we became jaded Chiefs fans pretty quick because they're 2-0 and we're already bitching about them. So,
yeah.
But yeah, and this is, to me, this is just not the team that you want to face without your top 2 corners. Now I've got Charvarius Ward listed as questionable.
I saw you did practice.
I really thought he was
capacity today.
I really thought with his broken hand that he was going to be out more than 1 game, but maybe they are going to be able to get him back in there. But this is a team that really misses Rashard Breeland, and this is a bad team to go up against when you're down defensive backs. This is just not good.
Yeah.
They have shown that they struggle against the run. Bad team to struggle against the run against, as of course Baltimore once again I believe leads the NFL in rushing. So yeah, I think it's just a bad matchup, bad time of year. And what everybody talks about Lamar Jackson and the offense. Of course, Baltimore's number 1 in defense right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of a game plan that Andy draws up. I'm almost going to be cheering against myself here, as you are as well. But it's hard not to pick Baltimore if you give the home team 2 to 3 points just for being at home. I think the Baltimore Ravens are a little better than a point and a half than the Chiefs right now at this point in the season.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the Chiefs. It's one of those things where when you bet against your favorite team, if they lose, you're not as sad, I guess, right? But
right.
You're still upset, but you're not as upset. But and again, another thing that we talked about on the pod earlier in the week is that the Ravens defense has the most turnovers in the league, and the Ravens offense has only turned it over once. And the Chiefs offense hasn't turned it over at all, but the Chiefs defense only has 2 turnovers, both interceptions by the rookie L'Jarius Sneed at cornerback. So it's one of those things where it's probably going to come down to turnover battle, as it does in a lot of these games where they're really good teams facing each other. It comes down to turnovers, and it's gonna be interesting to see what we do here. And as a Chiefs fan, I'm worried. I don't think you could talk to any Chiefs fan straight up, and I don't think they could straight up tell you that the Ravens are a worse team than the Chiefs. Other than they might bring up that Lamar Jackson's never beat Patrick Mahomes, and that Lamar Jackson can't show up for big games, or blah 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 blah. But and you never feel out of a game with Patrick Mahomes. He's never lost by more than 7. So it's in the 3 years of him, the 2 and 1 game years of him starting. So it's like it's just the scariest. It's the worst I've felt about it going into a Chiefs game in a while. I didn't feel like I'm not sure I felt this bad when we played Seattle like 2 years ago, and I didn't feel great about the game and we lost, but we're close. And I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but yeah, I think the Ravens by touchdown might be fine here.
That sounds about right.
A Ravens team that looks like it's clicking, a Chiefs team that doesn't look like it's clicking. That's basically what it comes down to.
All right, go ahead and give your next one since I've given you 4 of my 5.
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, sorry, we keep getting ahead. And then I end up talking about your pick instead of letting you discuss it. My 4th pick is the Packers money line. Why didn't I've got this at -140, which isn't correct. Let me make sure I get this updated the right way. Always scrambling here a bit at the end. But I've got the Packers money line, and this was an interesting one because again we talked about how the Saints really don't look. Oh, it's +140, not -140. But the Saints really don't look good, right? Drew Brees looks especially bad against the Raiders on Monday Night Football there, and the Packers look good. Aaron Rodgers is firmly in the MVP conversation, through a week or two or whatever. It's not a crazy jump, but Aaron Rodgers is solidly there, and I think and it's a game where I have Green Bay favored by about 1.5 points, and that's only because we're in New Orleans. As far as Steehn score goes, I've got them placed 10 points ahead, so which correlates to being about 3.5 4 point favorites if they're on a neutral site. So yeah, having them as 1.5 favorites, I think that's good. And again, it was a line that we saw open at 6.5, and it's all the way down to we saw the New Orleans Saints favored by 6.5 when it opened, and that of course that's all the way down to Saints -3 now. So it's just not. I don't hate this pick, and I think the Packers are just the better team right now. I think the Saints just won't have much for them when we come and see them play.
Yeah, I agree with that, and here's something that will probably surprise you: the Packers are the leading rushing team in the NFL right now, and that's certainly a testament to how well Aaron Jones has played there. They've run for 417 yards, 6.2 yards per carry, Truman. So they're getting it done, 208 yards, 208.5 yards per game. Very, very good. Taking a lot of pressure off of Aaron Rodgers. He does best when he doesn't have to do it all, especially with that cast of receivers that he has. So Aaron Jones has really stepped up this year. And I'll tell you, the only thing that kept me away from this game is the uncertain status of Davante Adams for the Packers. He's questionable right now. He hasn't practiced this week, and I worry about what exactly is going to happen without Davante Adams. Whether they're going to have enough threats on the being able to throw the ball down the field. So that's why I shied away from it. But I like this pick. I actually have them also on the money line at +140 as a personal pick. I made that earlier in the week. Put a pretty decent amount on that. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah. I shot you the text earlier in the week.
But I'm definitely rooting for you there.
Well, I texted you the pick, so I assume you'll lose automatically. Anytime I send you the pick personally, it automatically fails. So.
Well, yeah, that's certainly not a good sign for Davante Adams to be healthy. I'll tell you.
Right.
So I'll put you down for Green Bay money line plus. What did you say, 140?
Yep, still at 140 right now, which is when I took this about. I wrote all the lines down to have it as fresh as possible about an hour ago. Or sorry. Now we're talking about 2 hours.
I think your assessment of that line was correct about where it was going to go. I do think it would have favored the Packers eventually. I think the Davante Adams injury has caused that line to stagnate and not go in favor of the Packers. So
right, yeah, because I saw that line movement. So I saw that so much line movement early in the week. I assumed it was going to get over to the Packers being the favorites. But as we talked about, as you texted me, and is easy to explain, is that when we talk about those core numbers that are hard to get past 3, 4, 7.
That's really it.
That's really
10
it.
a little bit.
10 sort of, but you're not going to go for
3
and
7 are the biggies. 4 is kind of a secondary, but yeah.
Right. So we saw, and so we saw this line get to it was 3.5 early in the week and and now it's down to 3. But it's going to be hard for it to move past 3, and especially with Devontae Adams out, I think it's going to be hard to move past 3. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think we're probably set there. You might be able to get 2.5 if you're a Saint. If you believe in the Saints and you believe that Devontae Adams is going to matter that much, if you're going to bet on the Saints, I personally I wouldn't, like as we're talking about right here. But again, if you're going to bet on the Saints, I'd maybe hold off and maybe hope that line moves to 2.5.
I kind of disagree. I think if this line's going to move, I think it's going to move towards New Orleans. I think it's going to be 3.5. At game time, if they announce inactives and Devontae Adams is active, it's possible if you've held that long, you may get it down to 2.5. But I don't really see that happening. My goodness, what a terrible game this is. What
do you got? What do you got on in the background this week?
I got Middle Tennessee and UTSA.
Oh.
I've got the over, and Middle Tennessee just had a 3rd and 14 and went 10 yards backwards. So
nice.
Good times, yeah. All right. So we did the Chiefs Ravens. So my last pick, Truman, is going to be a complete fade of the. Well, it's actually I like the team too. It's going to be the Cardinals -5.5 over the Lions. The Lions are awful. Big shocker there. They are just not good at all, and I really like what this Cardinals team is doing right now.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray. I think they're doing a great job. They are 6th in the NFL in total offense right now at 421 yards per game, and they're mixing it up very well. They're rushing for 170 yards a game. Kenyon Drake's really doing a nice job with this team, and I like this Arizona Cardinals team quite a bit. I do not like the Lions. Stafford just doesn't have a running game yet again, as they've only rushed for 113 yards per game. Just not much. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think that's where the Packers really break down.
Yeah.
Where the Lions really break down. I like Arizona to take care of business. The Arizona defense has been surprisingly good this season as well. The Detroit Lions, they have been towards the bottom. In fact, they are currently 29th in yards allowed, giving up 425 yards per game. So, yeah, not much to like about the old Lions right there. Give me the Arizona Cardinals at home -4.5. I think it's 5.5 rather. I think that's a hell of a good price.
And I don't hate that. I think until teams are able to actually contain Kyler Murray and shut him down, I think it's gonna be hard to beat. I think it's a lot like Mahomes when Mahomes is healthy and able to run, where he's doing his thing and he's shuffling around, and like we saw on Sunday versus the Chargers with Mahomes. It's not as a lot of people will jump to the conclusion of comparing him to Lamar because he's also a running quarterback. He's got a strong arm. They won the Heisman. Blah blah blah.
He's a better running quarterback than Lamar. I watched both of those games this week. Lamar Jackson is more of a straight ahead guy.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take you on and get that extra 2 yards. And what Kyler Murray he's very slippery. He's a spin move kind of guy,
mm-hmm.
and you think you got him and you don't.
Right.
He accelerates better than Lamar Jackson, and
I think his arm's better too.
You know what? I don't know about that. They both have great arms, some underrated arms because they're known as running quarterbacks.
Right.
Both of them have very good arms. Kyler Murray has done nothing but make a fool out of me. I thought he should have taken the baseball money, but he has really proved to be a force in the NFL and has got this Arizona team headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
I love them to cover up against the silver and blue. Give me the Cards -5.5.
Yeah, who are those? They're playing. Oh, yeah, the Lions. And again, the Lions maybe should have that win in Week 1 against the Bears, but I don't think the Bears are very good either. And then looked terrible against the Packers, and I believe the Packers are probably on another rung above the Cardinals. But yeah, I think the Cardinals should be able to handle the Lions pretty well. I think the Lions are missing Darius Slay Jr. in their defensive backfield a fair amount. So yeah, I'm like what the Cardinals are doing. I don't hate this pick. I hate when I see your picks and they always look great. I hate to see it every week. Of course, we don't disagree on any picks this week, which is
give me your last pick. Maybe I'll hate this one. Because I haven't really hated any of your picks so far this week either.
You're not gonna believe this. I forgot what I put as my 5th pick. The Cardinals minus 5.5.
Oh, there you go. All right, good times.
Well, this isn't much of a Steehn versus Machine, huh? This is more a Steehn and Machine week.
That's right. Yeah,
Switch
the
the
machine
graphics.
finally got smart, it would appear.
Oh man, this is something for sure. We're certainly coming up on I mean
Outstanding.
I got no problems here. I got no problems here.
And by the way, we do make our picks completely independent of each other. I know that
Yeah.
the first week you wanted to send me your picks. I didn't want to see them.
Yeah, last week.
And
right.
I assume that by the time I send you my picks on Friday afternoon, you've already made yours. So.
Oh yeah, I do my picks on Wednesday. I get all my after Wednesdays. Like sometimes I stream on Wednesdays. Sometimes I don't stream on Wednesdays. I mostly stream on Tuesdays.
Is there a day you don't stream?
Yeah, I don't stream on Mondays or Thursdays. Mondays I just take
okay.
the beginning of the work week. I take that day off, and then I don't stream on Thursdays because, truth be told, I have date night with my girlfriend. So I make time.
Instead of Thursday night football.
I mean, if it's the Chiefs, then we'll move it to a different day. But like first week we had movie night on Wednesday, and then like the week after that, I think Islanders playoff hockey was on Thursday. She's willing to move it, but in general, I'm off on. I don't stream on Mondays or Wednesdays or Thursdays, and Wednesdays are kind of up in the air. Depends where I'm at with everything.
All right, very good.
Depends how much work I get done during my lunch break. So.
Gotcha.
Instead of eating lunch.
I understand.
So we agree on 3 picks this week, and neither of us really hate each other's picks.
Yeah.
The only pick honestly, if I had one pick that I don't love from you,
Ram.
It's the Eagles. I really have no feel on the Rams or Buffalo game, but man, even the fake crowd noise was booing Carson Wentz on last Sunday. So I don't know if I don't know how much I like the Eagles right now. They just don't look they look like, for us Chiefs fans, or for me as a Chiefs fan, as unsure and confused I feel about the Chiefs offense. I feel that way about the Eagles, but the Eagles don't win games. And they don't have a high level offense. They have an average offense that looks confused and not clicking on all cylinders. Running on all cylinders, smashing on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders.
Hitting or firing would be acceptable. Yes.
Yeah. So, and they don't seem to be doing that right now. And so I don't love the Eagles right here because I think they're an average team if they're hitting on all cylinders, and I don't think they're firing on cylinders, and I don't think they're I don't think they're doing well right now, and I don't love it. They're not an elite team when they are good. They're a barely division winner in the NFC East when they are playing well. So
I think you've underestimated how terrible Cincinnati is.
They hung. They've as bad as Cincinnati has looked, they have hung tough in both their games against bad to average teams. And Philadelphia is a bad to average team.
I had Cincinnati as a premium pick to get the backdoor covers last Monday night, but
shit. And I mean, if the Bengals kicker makes the kick at the end of regulation there instead of hurting himself, and we go to overtime and the Bengals win, how much different are we talking about? We're an injury away from an overtime game against the team that took the Chiefs to overtime. We're almost overtime Eskimo brothers with Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
So
Tyrod Taylor, buddy. Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. I'm with you there, but. But Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz isn't Tyrod Taylor, but he certainly doesn't look great right now. He's kind of running for his life a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's gonna get well this week.
Yeah, especially what you said, Geno Atkins and who's the other guy they're missing? They're on the D line.
Is it Mike? Mike Thompson. I can't think of his last name. Mike Daniels. Sorry.
Yeah. So both those. Having both those guys out will certainly help the Carson Wentz situation. So we'll see how it goes. But I just don't love it personally. But I mean, that's really my one. Then I think if I had to find an issue and pick an issue, that's probably my one.
Oh no, the guy that went 2-3 last week doesn't like my pick. Oh man, bummer.
All right. Well, me and you picked 3 of the same, so be careful now.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably go 2-3 and only hit those 2. All right, good enough, bud.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. As always, Scott, I appreciate your time. Tell mom I love her. You're fine as well. Uh,
Wife's on the view as well.
no, I love you also, and I hope the family's doing well, especially in these trying times. Obviously, a little family prayer out to our extended family there.
Agreed. Agreed.
Having an issue after that car wreck last week. That happened last weekend. So
Put your seatbelts on, kids, and be careful. And for those anybody out there that's a parent, give your kids an extra hug because it can happen like that in a fucking instant. And it's you never know who it's going to be. You never if you have kids, you know the drill. They start driving, they start riding with people. You pray every time they go out that they come back the way they left. So. Yeah, that would be any kind of prayers or good thoughts for our extended family would be a good thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So obviously, don't always love to end it on a bad note here. Yeah, but right. Hey, after that, you want to let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. Yep. Make sure you stop by and see me. Well, first of all, the website is winnersandwhiners.com. If you haven't been there, you should definitely check it out because they do serious deep dives. Into every game, every single day. They do baseball, they do football, they do basketball, everything that basically if you could bet on a North American sport, they do an in-depth article with our handicappers over there. There's no other site like it. It is the #1 site for predictive sports analysis in all of the world. And yeah, you should definitely check out winnersandwhiners.com and check out my show that I do with my fellow handicapper Scott Reichel over at Winners and Whiners. Real sharp kid, and we do our shows every day. We do a show that we call Today in Sports Betting. So check that out on the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel. And of course, I do my play of the day every day on our Winners and Whiners channel as well. So check out the Steamrollers free play of the day as well on the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel. That's it. Plugs are done.
Nice. And of course, you can find me here on my channel, twitch.tv/SteehmMachine. Obviously, Steehn is spelled like it is. Man, I'm trying to figure out how to put it is over there. And then machine is spelled like it is up here. You can bind them together. That's Steehn Machine. Also found it Twitter at the same handle. This video gets uploaded to YouTube, actually, on I believe I'm under like Steehn Machine Network right now. I should just switch to Steehn Machine on YouTube. But we will upload these, and I normally post it on my Twitter. And generally, if you go ! New vid in the Twitch chat, it will pop up throughout the weekend. I also do the podcast on Tuesdays with another Twitch streamer, Domination7, also known as Owen Dom. And we also do our Sunday pregame show. We've started that this week. We get you started. We do a little bit of fantasy. We cover the inactives. We cover and we place bets live on stream until we get banned. So I don't think it violates TOS, but we'll see. We'll see if we run into any problems ever. But
excellent.
Yeah, we do our little Sunday pregame show there. We upload podcasts on Thursdays, and we upload this show to the YouTube on Saturday. And I believe that's all for my plugs. So again,
all right, there you go.
I may just sit here while I do my plugs on my own channel that people are already tuned into. So, Scott, I do appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time.
Pleasure as always.
And
pleasure as always, Truman.
And of course, I do love you, Dad. Even when we go 5-0 or whatever, it's not. It's I think the closest we ever got to any kind of beat downs here.
Just you know what? Just like bad things, this too shall pass, Truman. So yeah, don't worry about it. It won't be 5-0 every week, buddy. It's
most
absolutely
weeks,
yeah, just most weeks. So fantastic. I love you too, as well, of course. And yeah, keep doing your thing, man, and keep for all you that are tuned in. We appreciate you viewing, of course, and good luck on all of your plays. Hope you cash every single ticket, and we'll see you back at the window.
Yes, sir. Yes, we will.